All right, Dan. So salespeople, we have a tendency of having a hard time walking away from somebody having their checkbook out, even when we know it's going to be a bad fit.
Hmm.
Because the money in the moment can be hard to say no. But we all have those experiences where we brought a client on, and when the phone rings and we see the caller ID, we want to hide because we don't want to deal with it. So talk a little bit about why, when we know there's a bad fit, for whatever the reason is, and it's not just the prospect is a jerk or anything like that. There's just reasons that it's not going to go well. Why do we press forward, other than the fact that we want the money?
Well,
What
that
else
is the reason why.
You think that's all?
I think that's most of it.
Okay.
Probably 90+% is because we want the money and we know the person's willing to pay it.
Checkbooks out.
Maybe some of the other thing is because I have some time, I can help, and let's just do it.
So the only other thing I see sometimes is we want to hit numbers.
Yeah.
So we want to be the top person in new clients acquired or money, assets brought in or those kinds of things. And so we draw it in, and then in the future we get fired or we try and fire them.
You have mentioned before about the strength on our sales call is dependent upon how much stuff's in our pipeline.
Yes. Yeah.
And this is the magical
Very
thing
true.
here. If you have a lot of things in your pipeline, you're more picky on who you want to work with.
Yes.
If this is the only sales call that I have scheduled for the rest of the year, I want you as a client. I don't
Yes,
care what you
doesn't
pay,
matter.
right?
Yeah.
I'll find, but all that aside, there is this thing of if you can help somebody even in a little area, take the money and help them if you want.
Yes.
So, for example, I had a company that was looking at having me come in and do management training for all their managers, right? And talking to the CEO, what I found out was that he was really concerned about one manager. He didn't want her to leave, and yet she was on the verge of leaving, and he really wanted training for her. And so ultimately he said, can you help this one person? Yes, I mean, I'd love all of them, right? More
Sure.
money, more people I can help. But I also realized here's an opportunity to help one person. It takes a little bit of time, I'll make a little bit of money, but I can help one person. And I have the ability to do that. So why would I not do that? Of course I would. And then you never know what happens in the future
Thereafter.
with that.
Sure.
So all that to say, be very efficient with your time and with your effort. And if you have time to be able to help places that can't pay maybe what they should or whatever, go for them. If not, don't do it.
Yeah, the big thing that changed for me was when and it came out, and I was very, I don't want to say vocal, but I was clear about it. And my tone, my demeanor, my approach changed when I made it very clear to every prospect I was talking to that I'm interviewing them as much as they're interviewing me. And I will say no to more people than I will say yes to. And the dynamic of every conversation changed.
Well, I love that. And PT has some thresholds of, hey, this is the minimum amount we'll do per month, right? And if they can't pay it, then you don't want them as a client. For my executive coaching, I have the same thing. There's a minimum amount that I charge because that's an amount that's interesting to me.
Yeah.
And that's also an amount that's interesting to them as well. Like, well, what do I get for that? So anything below that, I won't take it. So I think there are times where you hold firm to what it is you want to do.
Sure.
But I've learned as I get older too, if I have time and I have some effort that I can put into, I'll help.
I want to help people. Yeah, absolutely. All right, buddy. See you again tomorrow.
Take care.